So I watched Bad Boys Why or Die yesterday. Now I will say this: I'm not like a big Bad Boys fan. I love the third one. That Bad Boys for Life is what got me actually really into the franchise. Like I don't like the first two personally. Outside of the chemistry between Will Smith and Martin Lawrence in the first two, I don't think those two are very good. And just overall, I just wasn't a fan of those first two movies. But I loved Bad Boys for Life. I felt like Bad Boys for Life had the best story, the best emotional, like the one where I felt really emotionally invested in the story and characters, had a great villain. So when it comes to Bad Boys Why or Die, I was really, I was really excited for this because of how much I love Bad Boys for Life. And overall, I did enjoy Bad Boys Why or Die. Now, I will say this: I do think this is a step down from Bad Boys for Life. I still prefer this over Bad Boys One and Two, but I did find this to be a step down from Bad Boys for Life. Let me start with the positives with Bad Boys Why or Die. I still think Martin Lawrence and Will Smith have great chemistry. I know some people just don't want to watch Will Smith movies anymore when it comes to slapping asses. And look, what he did was stupid. You shouldn't have handled it that way. But when I'm talking about a movie, I'm judging the actor. Now, I'm not judging Will Smith based on what he's done. I'm just I'm going to judge this movie based on how his actor performance is in this movie, and when it comes to his character. And I thought he was great in this movie. To me, he still has charisma. I'm still a big Will Smith fan when it comes to checking out his movies. I still think he's a great actor. I think him and Marlon still have great chemistry in this movie. Overall, I think the story's decent in this movie. Like the idea of them being on one is definitely something new for this franchise. And I do think the story in this is better than the storylines in one and two. Was I feel like the first two Bad Boy movies are full of cliches, stupid humor that didn't work for me, and just unmemorable plots in those first two movies. I do feel like Bad Boys 4, the plot sticks out at least a little bit more in this movie than Bad Boys 1 and 2. Like, not as good as the story in Bad Boys for Life, but overall, I did like the story in this one. And some of the humor worked for me when it came to the second half of the movie. I'm going to get into some negatives with the first half of the movie when I get to my negatives. But some of the humor worked for me, not all of it. I feel like Bad Boys 3 still had the best humor when it came to its balance. But some of the humor worked for me in this movie. I love what they did with Will Smith's character when it come to his character having like panic attacks at some points in the movie, and his character get married and settling down and not being like the playboy anymore. I do like the fact they showed these characters getting older and really had their age be part of the storylines for these characters in this movie. So I do like the fact they showed that with him having panic attacks at certain points in this movie. And it was nice to see kind of his like a vulnerable side to his character, which I liked. The accent I thought overall was really good. I do have a negative with the accent, but overall I thought the accent was really good in this movie. I thought some of the camera work and kind of close-up points of views I thought was really cool. It added a cool element to the accent scenes in this movie. So overall I thought the accent was really good in this movie. Now when it comes to the negatives in this movie, I do think the first half of the movie is a little all over the place. Actually, I do find it to be really all over the place. It's like the tone kind of feels all over the place. And I'll be honest, for the first like half hour, the humor was not working for me. Like it was a lot of humor that just felt very flat to me in this movie for the first half of this movie, where I just wasn't finding it funny, and it was missing a lot. But in the second half, I feel like it got better when it came to the like just everything, the story, humor. I feel like all that got better, especially the humor in the second half. And when it comes to the villain in this movie, I think the bad guy is forgettable. I mean, that's one of the issues I have with the first two Bad Boy movies too. I thought the main bad guys in those first two movies were pretty forgettable too. I thought Bad Boys for Life had a great villain with Will Smith's character's love interest. I thought to me she was a great villain in that movie, and I thought the villain in this movie was just kind of forgettable, generic, and just not very memorable or interesting to me, like the villains in the first two movies. And even though I think some of the accent is really cool in this movie, how it's shot, the close up points of views with the camera, and how the camera's moving around, I thought that was really cool. And like I said, it added definitely a cool element to us. And there was times where I felt like they overdid it with the camera work in this movie, where they're trying to be like too tricky and cool with the camera work with the accent. Because even though I really enjoyed that aspect, there was other times like, okay, you're really overdoing it with this here. It's like too much with the camera movement at times for me personally. I just felt like, okay, you're really overdoing it at times in this movie. So it's kind of like the accent. I think the accent's really good, but then there's also times where I felt like the camera work was just a little much in this movie. And the accent at times does get a little bit over the top for me in this movie, where I'm like, it's not to the point where I feel like it's gotten like too over the top, but I do feel like it started to get a little bit over the top with the accent at points in this movie. And when it came to Mark Lawrence's character, I gotta be honest. Part of the humor not working for me is a lot of it has to do with his character, where I feel like they made his character a little bit more sillier in this movie than past movies. Like his whole plot line at the beginning, where he has like a heart attack at Will Smith's character's wedding because he's the best man. He's giving a speech and he has a heart attack, and have this whole storyline after he has a heart attack, believing he can't die, and this political storyline where he went into have to like saw the captain from the first three movies, and the captain told him it's not your time, and just I feel like that storyline just got way too goofy and silly, and it made his character come off way too goofy and silly in the first half of the movie. So I'm not really a fan of how silly and goofy his character gets, Mark Lawrence's character in this movie. I feel like they just made his character a bit too goofy and comedic in this movie. So that storyline, I'll be honest, didn't really work for me personally. Oh, another part about this movie, I totally forgot. The Reggie character, he has one of the best moments in this franchise, and it might be my favorite moment in this movie, where he has a really great action scene where he's protecting the family in the house when they're getting attacked, and it's just I love that moment. It also has a really this is a small moment at the end that I love, where he's where Will Smith's character, Martin Lawrence's character at the grill, and Martin Lawrence's character is telling Will Smith's character, can't come over, like them arguing about like using the grill, and Wedgie coming over wanting to put something on the grill and using the grill too, and I love the fact that Will Smith's character, Martin Lawrence's character walks away and you see the actor who plays Reggie smile. I thought that was like a great small moment from having that really cool acid scene he has early in the movie, which is just my favorite moment of the movie. But just overall, I thought this was an enjoyable, fun movie. Again, like I said, there's some issues I have when it comes to the first half feeling wacky and the comedy not really landing for me and making Lawrence character a little too goofy and silly for me. And it also, like I said, added a very generic, forgettable villain. I still really like the side characters. I forgot about that. The side characters from Bad Boys for Life, when it when it comes to Will Smith Lawrence's team, I do still like those two characters. I like this like the little storyline they give those characters in the movie. But overall, like I said, I think overall this is an enjoyable fun movie. Again, it's a step down from the third one for me personally. Like I didn't I didn't love this movie, and I do hope if they do another one with these same directors, and I want to be I do want to see these directors back, because even though I didn't think this was as good as the third one, I still felt like overall it was an enjoyable enough Bad Boys movie. And I just hope with the next one they kind of go back to more of the tone of the third one, and like calm down on the comedy, and just like I said, the camera movement is cool in this movie with Aston, but I do hope they don't like they calm down on how to like shooting the camera work in this movie at times. And then that's one way because like I said, in this one I just felt like they were overdoing it at times. But like I said, overall enjoyable movie. I would recommend Bad Boys Why Would Die, and that's my thoughts on the movie. Until next time, movie fans.